Welcome to Vancouver. We're currently in downtown Vancouver, and right behind me is the arena where a lot of famous people have performed. Recently the weekend were here, and Dua Lipa when I first arrived I didn't get to go. But anyway, it's not about celebrities as much as I'd like it to be. It's about the neighbourhoods and how much it costs in those neighbourhoods and what those neighbourhoods are like, why you might want to rent there. So let's have a little explore of downtown Vancouver. Everything is here in downtown Vancouver, from your restaurants to your supermarkets to places to live, places to eat, things to do. Downtown Vancouver is the heart of Vancouver and has everything you need, with everything within about a 15-minute radius. So let's break it down a little bit and let's go to each different neighbourhoods in downtown Vancouver before we go into the wider Vancouver area, and let's see what all these glass bedrooms and 1 bedrooms and 2 bedrooms will actually get you, depending on where you decide to settle when you come here. Vancouver has many nicknames, one of them including the City of Glass, and it's not hard to see why when you see right behind me the landscape is jutting tall towers of glass skyscrapers, each one being a variation of studios, 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 or 5 bedrooms. But they all come with a price, especially the ones with 2 or more bedrooms. So let's break down the average cost of downtown Vancouver as a whole. The prices fluctuate all the time in Vancouver, but there is a national average in downtown Vancouver. So it's good to bear in mind the average, but during this year in particular, they are rising quite a bit. For context, the average rental rate in downtown Vancouver in June was $2,056. In the summer, that has now gone up to $2,176. That is just for a 1-bedroom unfurnished apartment. Of course, you are paying more if you want more than 1 bedroom, and it depends on the square feet, and it also depends as well on the location you're in, which is what we're going to explore in this video. Wait, did I just say square foot? I meant square feet. So let's start with the average rentals for an unfurnished apartment, 1, 2, 3 bedroom. So downtown Vancouver as a whole. The average rental for a 1-bedroom in downtown Vancouver is $2,598 a month. For a 2-bedroom, the average rental for an unfurnished apartment in downtown Vancouver is $3,912 a month. And for a 3-bedroom, the average rental for an unfurnished apartment in downtown Vancouver is $5,135 a month. Now, that isn't taking into account all of your utilities. You might be spending, say, an average of $2,598 a month on an unfurnished 1-bedroom apartment, but then you need to have the money to furnish your apartment, you need to have enough money spare to afford the rising costs in groceries, you need to have enough money spare to afford internet, maybe tenant insurance, which a lot of your landlords will ask you to take out, and there are just more costs on top of your rent, so bear that in mind. Now, a good thing is, for me in particular, so it can happen when you do come here, is that you are able to find rentals that include these all within the rent, and if you can find something like that that includes those amenities, then you are probably going to be a little bit better off. Now, I enjoy downtown living, and the reason I chose to live in downtown was because it was so convenient, and also because I've never had a city living experience before, and I'm really glad I did that. However, saying that, I don't plan to stay in downtown Vancouver long term, simply because you're paying a downtown premium price to live here, but also because, in all honesty, I don't feel 100% safe here, and that's because some areas are just a little bit ropey, and crime is kind of on the rise here a little bit. So as soon as I can get out of downtown, I probably will, for many reasons. Sometimes when I walk around downtown Vancouver, it's like I've transported back to New York. It gives me complete New York vibes in some areas, especially like the older areas of town. And I think that it's a shame that Vancouver didn't keep that going. I mean, it's so New York, darling, so New York. So furnished apartments will probably cost you a little bit more just because they are furnished, of course. And of course you have to remember as well that when you are renting any sort of rental, whether it be furnished or non-furnished, you are required to put down a little bit of a deposit and also the first month's rent as well. So bear that in mind. Now, basing it off my experience, I rent a finished apartment, 1 bedroom in downtown Vancouver for $2,450 a month. But like I said earlier, it does include all the amenities like the internet. So that is something to kind of base a judgment of. Downtown Vancouver has kind of 3 separate places. So you've got the West End, which is a quite nice area. You've got Yaletown, and you've also got the kind of bit in between, which is where we are right now. And prices in these separate areas of the small downtown core vary greatly. So Vancouver is huge for prime development opportunity right now, and condos are going up all over the place. Most of the time they are luxury. And we are outside a brand new one that's just gone up, which is opening in September, called Burrard Place. So, for example, here's a price of this. For just a studio apartment, it is $2,630. For a 590 square foot studio in Burrard Place, it is $3,090. And then for a 2-bed, it is $4,935 for 910 square feet. That is because it's a brand new place, it's luxury, but I mean, that seems to be a general theme here. Now we're going to look at the average cost in the neighbourhoods of downtown Vancouver. So right now we are in Yaletown, a very desirable area of downtown Vancouver, and on the lower end of downtown Vancouver. Now a quick search on Facebook Marketplace, where you can find most of your rentals, and it's probably more reputable to find your rentals. For a 1-bedroom in Yaletown, downtown Vancouver, you're looking at around $2,450 per month. And then a 1-bedroom Yaletown condo, $3,000 a month. Another one, furnished condo in Yaletown, $2,952. And a 2-bed, 2-bath apartment, $3,900. Another reason you may want to consider Yaletown as your place to live when you come to Vancouver is simply because of the warm, welcoming atmosphere that's here. Day and night, it's a really nice place to be, and there's lots to do, and it just feels like one of the most historic and charming places in Vancouver. A great thing about Yaletown is how well connected it actually is. So right in the centre of Yaletown is the Yaletown train station, which is right behind me. And that has direct links via the SkyTrain and the kind of underground system. And as well, if you really want to, you have a direct link from Yaletown to Vancouver Airport. If you're from the UK, you're familiar with something called Boris Bikes, and Vancouver has adopted the Boris Bike, which is basically a free-for-all where you can rent a bike and cycle around Vancouver. I said in my previous videos it's very cycle-friendly, and here they are right now. They're everywhere. We're on the way to Gastown now, and it's time to show you a very historic part of town, but I'm going to give you a little bit of caution and reason on why you might not want to live in Gastown. Welcome to Gastown, tourist central, very much so because of the cruise ships that pull in right next to it. And right behind me is the Gastown steam clock, which everyone raves about, and everyone is like, when you visit Vancouver, go to the steam clock. Biggest scam going. It's not even powered by steam, so bit of waste of time. Gastown gets its name from this John Dayton because for some reason they called him Gassy Jack. I'm sure there's a reason for that, but I'm not entirely sure why that was. But they actually had a statue here for him, which actually got torn down because of its very much colonizer past, which obviously people here in Vancouver do not like. But as well as that is, you can really see the history here from the 1800s in Gastown. So many old buildings here, as you can see behind me, and it is Victorian architecture that a lot of people find very charming. If you want to live in Gastown, let's have a look at what those prices might be like. So, a quick search on Facebook Marketplace. For a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, you're looking at 2,500 Canadian dollars. For a 1-bedroom, 1-bath apartment, again in Gastown, you're looking at $3,800. And for a beautiful 1-bedroom Gastown loft, which is gorgeous, but it's only a 1-bed, it is 5,000 Canadian dollars per month. What you might find with Gastown is because the buildings are old, they are almost like heritage buildings, and some of them have heritage status, and because they are exposed brick and exposed, things like lofts, and you've got the beams and things, the price does seem to go up a little bit more. And basically what's happening is Vancouver is trying to make Gastown its most historic, prominent, bougie, hip place to be. But because of that, there's been some gentrification, and a lot of people have being forced out of their homes. So Gastown is actually very close to the most poverty-stricken part of Vancouver, and do not go to places like Chinatown, which is just a stone's throw away from the main hub of Gastown. And also just be a little bit careful about where you wander when you come to Gastown and how far you go. Now, crime here, I can't really speak on the levels of crime or the statistics of that. What I can say, however, is when I came here looking for apartments, every place I went to, every landlord I spoke to, asked me about where I was planning to stay. And immediately, every single one said to me, do not go to Gastown, do not rent in Gastown. And when I asked why, they said it's because there is a lot of crime, a lot of break-ins, and it's just a bit of a scary area to be, apparently. Now, obviously I can't speak if that's true. Obviously people do live here. They are paying premium prices as well. So it's kind of your own judgment, and I would definitely recommend that if you are thinking about moving to Gastown, maybe visit it first and get a sort of idea of what the area might be like and whether or not you want to live here. Gastown definitely has some positives going for it, but it also has some negatives which should be taken into account. We are right by Gastown and Vancouver's answer to the Flatiron building, like the famous one in New York. And I would recommend, from what I've been told by the locals, is this is where you stop. There are of course positives to coming to Gastown and living in Gastown. It gives a bit of a European vibe. The cobbled walkways are great, the architecture is beautiful, and it is very tourist friendly with lots of tourist shops, lots of independent boutiques again, and lots of tasty restaurants. And from here, you can see Kitsilano just across the water. It is so close, and we're going to go there next. We're currently on Burra Bridge, which is one of the bridges that links downtown Vancouver with the greater, wider area of Vancouver. We're about to head to Kitsilano, which is another very bougie neighbourhood in Vancouver. But before we do that, I thought I'd stop and show you that from this bridge you can see Granville Island, which is a massive tourist attraction. I'll probably do a separate video on it. What I really love about the Kitsilano neighbourhood is how much it feels like a very nice and calming community. There are so many sort of like independent shops, from coffee. Everybody loves coffee here in Vancouver, it's huge. So there's loads of coffee shops. And then there are like gorgeous little like cafes and restaurants, including Juliet's Cafe, which we've gone to a couple of times because it's very calming in there. The people are very nice and the food is delish. So if you do come to Vancouver, and if you are lucky enough to live in Kitsilano, definitely go and pay Juliet's Cafe a little visit. You can't beat Vera's meat. Why don't I show you what Kitsilano has to offer? When you first arrive, Evo allows you to drive the cars and use the app using your UK driver's license, but eventually, I believe it's after 90 days, if you still want to drive here in Vancouver and even in Canada, you do need to transfer your license over to a British Columbia license or a Canadian driver's license. As well as the Zero cars, you can do Modo cars and you can also do Evo. We're now in one of the residential areas of Kitsilano, or as people affectionately call it, Kits. And these houses are much larger than the downtown core, and they are a lot older as well. So most of them are probably where a lot of the rich people live, and they're not houses that have been converted into apartments, but it's quite hard to tell. Sometimes you're looking at a house and you think, wow, that's a massive house, but they've split it into separate places and they turned them into rentals. But the good thing about it is that still in Kitsilano, they still have kept those older houses, whereas downtown pretty much has just bulldozed them all. Now, unfortunately, the reality of living in a nice 3 or 4 bedroom house like this in Kitsilano, but also in Vancouver, is quite unachievable. They very rarely come up for rent, and if they do, they're probably going to be around 4 to 5 grand per month, depending on the size, depending on the rooms you get. Oftentimes, they tend to be the flat shares, but you do find that more commonly than not in your condos and things like that as well. So if you wanted to live in a house in Canada, Vancouver, Kitsilano, you are more than likely going to have to buy, and prices for about a 3 or 4 bedroom house in Kitsilano and Vancouver as well roughly start at about 1.5 million. More often than not, they are more than that. They are 2 million, 3 million. I've even seen houses being up for sale for 10 million. So crazy house prices here for your standard 3 or 4 bedroom house. Now let's look at the rentals. If you want to rent in Kitsilano, that's probably going to be more of a feasible option, but the prices are quite expensive depending on what you're looking for, and we're going to look at unfurnished prices and the average of the unfurnished price. So a 1 bedroom unfurnished apartment in Kitsilano, the average cost is 2,621 Canadian dollars. For a 2 bedroom house, the average price is 3,612 Canadian dollars. And for a 3 bedroom, the average cost is 4,998 Canadian dollars per month. What baffles me about housing in Vancouver and Canada, but mainly Vancouver and British Columbia, is that back in the UK, when you look at Rightmove, we've all done it, we look at those £1 million houses, the £2 million, £3 million houses, and what you get for that money is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 plus bedrooms, a pool, a gym, maybe even a cinema room, acres of land, a private driveway, and you're like, okay, that's worth the price, that's worth the £1 million price tag. Here in Canada, a standard 3 or 4 bedroom house with no land, barely a garden, nowhere to park, no gyms, no pools, the standard price is at least 1.5, 2 million, 3 million. And that baffles me. I just don't understand it. They're made of wood. They're not even made of, the frames are made of wood. They're not even made of stone. It just baffles me that houses cost that much. I don't know if that's a new thing in Canada. I don't know if that's been rising over time. But here in Vancouver at least, the house prices are not worth their price tag. Having said that, I do think the UK should take inspiration from the designs of the houses here, because I love them. They are so interesting to look at. They're so American, with their wooden deck porches and their gorgeous windows. And yeah, I just wish we built more houses like that in the UK. This is why people pay the money and want to live in Kitsilano. I mean, look at this scenery. You would not get this anywhere else. Living in a city and you can just pop to the ocean, to the beach, and just have a wonderful day in the sun, because Vancouver does have that consistent summer. I mean, it's just stunning. We've now come to the west end of downtown Vancouver, so I can tell you the prices here. But before I do that, I want to show you what the neighbourhood is like and why you might want to live in the neighbourhood. And the first thing I want to start with is this secret I like to call it a secret. You might stumble upon it. It's definitely not a secret, but a secret little walkway through the houses that is public access, and it is very, very, very cute. This little secret walkway is called Mole Hill, and I just love it because it's very calming. It's like stepping out of the city. And there's a little pond here, so let's have a look at the fish. What I absolutely love about downtown Vancouver, but also just Vancouver in general, is these little book exchanges, little free libraries that are set up for the community, where you can come and you can drop off books but also pick up books completely free of charge. And in crazy expensive Vancouver, free books is something I love, and I love it because I just love books, and I could literally just take all these, but etiquette, isn't it? Etiquette, darling. Anyway, let's see what's inside. Which book shall I take home today? West End living is extremely desirable and probably accounts to why I was unable to even find a rental when I was looking for one. And they are few and far between here. But as you can see, you are right by the ocean with the West End. And that is why people want to be on this end of downtown, because of the scenery. When I first moved to Vancouver, I stayed in the West End, and it was a really nice place to stay simply because it was very residential, but it does come with a bit of a con in that sense because you are a little bit away from your nearest supermarket or shop or things like that. But it was super residential, super quiet, and I really liked as well when you did come across those independent places, you know, the kind of classic film thing where you go out on the street and people are selling fruit and veg, you know, just outside in little markets, little grocers. It was very nice. So if you want to move to the West End, there are loads of benefits, as you've already seen. And let's look at the prices. So a quick search on Facebook Marketplace. Remember, you can find your rentals on Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji and Craigslist, but a quick search on Facebook Marketplace shows for a furnished one-bedroom apartment, which is pet friendly in the West End, which is great, what is 2,950 Canadian dollars per month. Another one for a one bed, one bath apartment, 2,950 again. A one bed, one bathroom apartment, 2,500 per month. And another two bed, one bath, 2,300. Now I wish that came up when I was looking, because I'm paying 2,450 for a one bed. So 2,300 for a two bed is pretty good for the West End. That's a steal. Just make sure that's not a scam. We've come to the neighbourhood of North Vancouver, which is reachable from downtown Vancouver, either by the Lionsgate Bridge or by the Seabus ferry. So if you want to explore North Vancouver, you can do it that way, and I really highly recommend that you do. So let's have a look around North Vancouver and why you might want to move here. The neighbourhood of North Vancouver is a great place to come because this is where you'll find a lot more of the residential houses. And these residential houses are very pretty, but pretty unaffordable. But if you're looking for a place that is away from the downtown core and is a lot calmer, a lot quieter than the busyness of a downtown city, then North Vancouver is a great option because it has great transport links, really close to the downtown core, and is a very peaceful, pretty place to live. If you wanted to move to the neighbourhood of North Vancouver then, how much are you likely to be paying? Well, for a 1-bedroom unfurnished apartment in North Vancouver, an average cost of $2,414. For a 2-bedroom unfurnished apartment, another average cost is $3,155. And then an average cost for a 3-bedroom is 4,472 Canadian dollars per month. Now, if we're going to look at furnished apartments in North Vancouver, then you're probably going to be paying a little bit more, but let's look at the 1-bedroom. So a 1-bedroom in North Vancouver is the average of 2,991 Canadian dollars. An average price for a 2-bedroom, you are looking at 3,475 Canadian dollars for a furnished apartment in North Vancouver. And for a 3-bedroom, you are looking at 4,109 Canadian dollars to live in North Vancouver. North Vancouver offers a lot of independent shops, and it has a very busy high street that goes right from the bottom from the docks all the way to the top into the mountains. And it offers coffee shops, restaurants, independent shops, and it's the hub of the town. You're also close to the Capilano Suspension Bridge, which I have filmed in another video. The neighbourhood of North Vancouver brings you a lot closer to the mountains, and one of those mountains is Grouse Mountain, which has a bit of a gondola ride and also is really popular for skiing during skiing season, and even there are bears there. So if you want to see a bear that isn't in the wild but is being rehabilitated, go to Grouse Mountain. That was filmed in August 2022, a beautiful summer, but since then rent prices have increased just a little bit. It's January right now, and I looked at some rentals and the prices are even more expensive than I thought they were going to be. It doesn't seem to be cooling down, just seems to be going up a little bit. Also, one thing to consider is that when you do get a rental, and if you decide to stay past your lease, so your 1 year, then your landlord is within their rights to up your rent by 1%. So you end up paying a little bit more each time you extend your rent. If you break your lease and go somewhere else, maybe you'll be able to find a good deal, but right now, those good deals don't seem to be out there. So I hope this video has been informative for you. I hope you found it useful, and I hope you understand that there are good deals out there. It doesn't have to be that expensive, but this is just a general ballpark idea of how much it is to live in the downtown core area and the immediate areas of Vancouver. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you again another time.